Money does not disappear from your life by accident. In many cases, it is quietly pushed away by habits, beliefs, and mental patterns you repeat every day without noticing. Many people try to manifest financial abundance. They read books, watch videos, repeat affirmations, and visualize success. Yet months pass, sometimes years, and nothing seems to change. The problem usually isn't effort. The problem is hidden resistance. There are a few common mistakes that block money manifestation. These mistakes are subtle but powerful. When they remain unnoticed, they create an invisible barrier between you and financial opportunities. Today, we'll look at 5 of the most common ones. The first mistake is focusing more on lack than on possibility. This happens when someone constantly thinks about what they don't have. They worry about bills, talk about how expensive everything is, and repeat phrases like, "Money is hard to make," or "I'll never get ahead." Your mind listens to these patterns. Over time, it begins to treat scarcity as normal. When your brain expects problems with money, it starts filtering reality through that expectation. Opportunities become harder to notice, risks feel more threatening, confidence drops. Manifestation is not magic, it works through attention and behavior. When your mind is constantly focused on lack, your decisions begin to reflect that focus. The shift begins when you train your attention differently. Instead of obsessing over what is missing, start noticing what is already working in your favor. Even small financial wins matter. This changes the emotional relationship you have with money. The second mistake is mixing desire with doubt. Many people say they want financial freedom, but at the same time, deep inside, they don't believe it's possible for them. They visualize wealth for a few minutes, but then spend the rest of the day thinking things like, "People like me never get rich," or "Something will probably go wrong." When desire and doubt are fighting inside your mind, doubt usually wins. Not because you want it to, but because doubt feels familiar. Your brain prefers familiar outcomes over uncertain ones. If you grew up around financial struggle, your subconscious may treat struggle as the normal state. Changing this pattern requires repetition. Belief is not built in one moment. It is built through consistent exposure to new ideas and small proofs that progress is possible. The third mistake is expecting instant results. Money manifestation is often misunderstood as something that should happen quickly. Someone reads about visualization or affirmations and expects their financial situation to change within days. When that doesn't happen, frustration appears. Frustration then leads to the thought that the process doesn't work. At that point, many people abandon the practice entirely. But financial transformation is usually a gradual process. It involves new habits, better decisions, and improved awareness of opportunities. Think about it this way. If someone has spent 10 or 20 years developing negative beliefs about money, it is unrealistic to expect those patterns to disappear in a week. The goal is not instant results. The goal is steady change in how you think and act around money. The fourth mistake is ignoring action. Visualization and mindset are powerful tools, but they are not substitutes for action. Some people spend hours imagining their future life, but they never take practical steps to move closer to it. They delay learning new skills. They postpone financial planning. They avoid conversations about income or investments. Manifestation works best when mindset and action work together. Your mindset shapes your perception of opportunities. Your actions determine whether those opportunities turn into results. If someone develops a confident financial mindset but never changes their behavior, the potential remains unused. Even small actions matter. Applying for a better job, learning a valuable skill, studying how successful people manage money. These actions create real pathways for abundance to enter your life. The fifth mistake is surrounding yourself with negative financial influence. Your environment shapes your thinking more than most people realize. If the people around you constantly complain about money, criticize success, or believe that wealth is something only dishonest people achieve, those ideas slowly become normal. You may not agree with them consciously, but repeated exposure influences your mindset. Human beings naturally adapt to the beliefs of their social environment. This is why many successful people intentionally change what they listen to, read, and watch. They expose themselves to different perspectives about money, opportunity, and personal growth. Over time, this new environment reshapes what feels possible. Now here is the key insight. Money manifestation is less about forcing reality to change, and more about removing the internal patterns that quietly block progress. When you stop reinforcing scarcity, reduce doubt, commit to patience, take consistent action, and reshape your environment, something interesting begins to happen. Your perception changes. You start noticing opportunities that were always there. You become more confident making financial decisions, and gradually, your external situation begins to reflect these internal shifts. Manifestation, in this sense, is not a single moment. It is a process of alignment between your beliefs, your attention, and your actions. When those three elements move in the same direction, financial progress becomes much more likely. If this topic interests you, and you want to understand the deeper structure behind how mindset influences financial results, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Here we explore practical ideas that help you rethink money, opportunity, and personal growth. And if you want to go a little deeper into this system, there's a useful resource linked in the description that explains the framework behind these principles and how people apply them step by step. It can be a helpful next step if you're serious about changing your relationship with money and creating better financial outcomes over time.